Sophia and I were divorced. She initiated it, said the love was gone. But not long after, a friend at the hospital told me Sophia Hayes, my ex-wife, was 3 months pregnant. I own a major MCN, a digital media company that's launched countless influencers and online celebrities. So, beautiful women, they're always around. You could say I've walked through a field of roses. Even so, my heart only ever belonged to Sophia. Maybe that's what they call old-fashioned love. We've been married over 4 years, deeply in love, our only regret being no kids. Doctor said we were both fine. We tried countless remedies, all sorts of methods, but I guess the time just wasn't right. The quiet routine slowly eroded the passion, and eventually, she asked for a divorce. No need to split assets. We had a prenup. Besides, she was richer than me and wouldn't have cared about my chump change. I didn't agree at first, but she's fiercely ambitious, strong-willed, and stubborn as a mule. Once her mind's made up, nothing can change it. Just like when she decided to marry me, no amount of disapproval mattered. The moment I heard she was pregnant, I was overjoyed. I asked her to remarry me. She shut me down cold. Her assistant told me Sophia planned to terminate the pregnancy, that reconciliation was impossible, and I should just give up. I put the word out to every hospital and clinic I knew. Anyone who took her on as a patient would be making an enemy of me. Conversely, anyone who did see her and immediately notified me would get a hefty reward. I've navigated the business world for years, built my company to what it is by being a man of my word. But days passed, and no hospital called. It seemed my child was safe for now. Still, just waiting wasn't a solution. I hired a private investigator, found Sophia's new address, and bought the unit right next to hers. I didn't reveal myself. I just wanted to be close. I had a couple of my guys with me, and we tailed her day and night. Who she met, what she did, what she bought, where she went. Finally, the cops found me, warned me that if I continued stalking her, I'd face fines and worse, a few days in jail. Money wasn't the issue, but jail time was. 3 of us was too conspicuous, and she knew me too well. So I hired a top-tier PI for real-time surveillance, while my driver, me, and my 2 guys stayed nearby in an SUV, ready to provide backup. A month later, she moved into a high-end, gated community. No houses for sale or rent nearby. Out in the middle of nowhere. She rarely left, with company business handled by the newly appointed CEO, Lucas Jennings. She was further along in her pregnancy now, too far for an abortion. I relaxed a little, but with no news of her, I was still on edge. Luckily, I had resourceful contacts. Soon, the security guards, property management, even the housekeeper in that community became my eyes and ears. The housekeeper even gave me the security system access codes, so I could check on Sophia anytime. For such a capable operative, a big bonus was definitely in order. I used to spend my time scrolling TikTok, checking trending topics, keeping up with online buzz. Now all my focus was on the baby and its mother. My business lives and dies by clicks and views. One misstep and you're obsolete. A traitor emerged from my ranks. Not only did they break their contract, but they started their own company, poaching many of my top influencers. My revenue plummeted. I didn't sweat it. I was self-made. This little setback wasn't going to break me. Not a chance. When I learned Sophia had contacted a private hospital, I was actually relieved. I got there early, waiting. I wanted my child's first sight to be me. Unfortunately, fate had other plans. Her bodyguards were damn good at their jobs. My crew couldn't intimidate them, and I was afraid of upsetting Sophia, so I had to wait in the hallway outside the delivery room. When the baby's cry echoed out, I was so ecstatic I handed out huge cash bonuses to everyone there, including Sophia's bodyguards. I was finally a dad. Too bad I didn't have the right to name my child. Just as I was basking in the joy of new fatherhood, disaster struck. A product we'd promoted in a live stream blew up in our faces. Major recall. Several of our female streamers got deplatformed for pushing suggestive content. A few influencers had their accounts suspended for spreading misinformation. A massive online boycott targeted everything associated with my company. Overnight, my company was bankrupt. It's true what they say. When you're on top, everyone's your friend. When you're down, those friends vanish. Fair weather friends, the whole lot of them. In my moment of crisis, every last one of them left me hanging. Ultimately, I was insolvent. With only about $300 to my name, I left for another city. The second I turned on my phone, it was flooded with calls from creditors. I had to get a new number. The once big shot CEO was now living in a tiny, less than 100 square foot rented room, barely scraping by doing food delivery. It was a harsh reality I had to face alone. To save money, I rented a place in a real rundown part of town where buildings were crammed together. Most apartments never saw sunlight, making them damp and cold. Summer was bearable, but winter was brutal. The heating barely worked, food spoiled quickly, and I developed large patches of eczema. Condensation covered the windows and doors. At night, I'd crank the electric blanket to high and still shiver. Soon enough, I got sick. My head was foggy. It was only when hunger pangs became agonizing stomach cramps that I'd drag myself out of bed to heat water for instant ramen. I barely hung on like that for a few days until my body completely gave out. I thought I was going to die there, but my landlady, a kind older woman, hadn't seen me for days and took me to the hospital. She even fronted the medical bills. The hospital was so warm after the constant cold, I actually found it hard to sleep. A friend request popped up on my burner messaging app. Unfamiliar number, but I recognized Sophia's profile picture. I didn't accept. I'd set up this messaging account with my new number. I had no idea how she'd found it. Her request message read, "The baby misses his daddy." I steel myself and still didn't accept. Another message came. "Your debts are all paid." Tears welled in my eyes. In what state could I possibly face her and our child now? I was basically a social pariah. The fact I hadn't completely lost was a testament to some inner strength I didn't know I possessed. The day I was discharged, I ran into someone I knew, Sarah Evans. She'd been an influencer signed with my company, got a bit of traction doing cover songs, then faded out. I was too embarrassed to acknowledge her and was about to slip away, but she recognized me. "Mr. Miller? Ethan? Long time no see." I desperately wanted to say, "Lady, you've got the wrong guy," but the words died in my throat. "Long time no see, Sarah. What have you been up to?" She smiled. "Just busy. Couldn't quite make it in the influencer game. I'm an HR manager now. Are you? Feeling okay? Just a minor thing. Just got out of the hospital." She suddenly seemed to remember something. "I recall you're not from the city. Are you here to open a branch or on other business?" I gave a bitter smile. "Looks like you really don't follow online news. My company went under. I'm not Mr. Miller, the CEO, anymore. You don't have to be so formal. I'm just a regular food delivery guy now." A look of regret crossed her face. "That's such a shame. Such a big company, gone just like that." Then she pulled out a business card. "If you're interested, come by our company. We're hiring a media exec of your caliber. It's a waste for you to be delivering food." I took the card. Apex Global. "Okay, thanks. I'll think about it." I had to get myself together. I still owed the landlady for the hospital bills. So, the next day, I put on the only decent-looking clothes I had left and went to Apex Global. The receptionist stopped me, but after I explained my purpose, Sarah came to escort me to an interview room. There were 3 interviewers. Sarah wasn't among them. The one leading was a woman with red-framed glasses and short, no-nonsense hair. "Mr. Miller, please start with a self-introduction." It felt strange. "My name is Ethan Miller. I'm 36. I was formerly the head of a nationally recognized MCN. One of the interviewers cut me off. "Your education?" "High school," I answered honestly. "Why did you choose Apex Global?" What could I say? Because someone I knew invited me? Of course not. Because Apex Global is a highly respected, diversified corporation. A company this excellent deserves wider recognition. This would not only boost its public profile and product competitiveness, but also allow it to better serve the community. The interview went well enough. After all, my information was easily searchable online. The general manager put me in charge of new media for the corporate communications department. 1 month probationary period. If I performed well within that month, I'd be promoted to deputy manager of corporate communications and get a permanent contract. And so I worked at Apex Global by day and continued doing food deliveries by night. Even though Sophia had cleared my debts, I still owed my landlady, and I couldn't stay in that depressing apartment forever. Even at 36, my energy levels weren't what they used to be, but I gritted my teeth and pushed on. First, I checked out the production line. To promote something, you first need to understand how your product is made and packaged, then look at its efficacy and quality, and finally, its after-sales service. From this assembly line-like process, I'd find the standout points and then amplify them in our promotions. Besides site visits and shooting footage to gather material, I also had to do video editing. I was okay as a boss, but editing wasn't my strong suit. After all, what CEO does that kind of technical work? Thanks to my prior experience, the short-form videos I produced were averaging over 1 million views each, with the top ones even hitting 10 million. Likes were around 300,000, and the copy I wrote went viral several times, hitting trending topic lists. Apex Global quickly became a hot name online. Given my performance, the company's senior management smoothly signed me to a permanent contract, and I, unsurprisingly, became the deputy manager of corporate communications. The day I got the contract, I invited Sarah to dinner. Since going bankrupt, My meal budget hadn't exceeded $15. But today I was celebrating. I took her to a nice Italian place, ordered a bottle of red wine that cost half a month's salary, osso buco calamari, a Caesar salad, and tiramisu. I expressed my gratitude to Sarah. She was very modest. It's all your talent, Ethan. I just made an introduction. I waved my hand. Don't be so modest. Without your introduction, I'd still be out there delivering food in the wind and snow. Halfway through dinner, Sarah asked curiously, "So what are your plans now?" I sighed. No big plans. Right now, I just want to work hard. Maybe buy a decent place, a car. No other ambitions. I'm tired of chasing big things. Sarah looked very disappointed. That doesn't sound like you. You used to be so driven, such a great leader. How did you become so disillusioned? I put down my fork and knife. It's not disillusionment, it's just seeing things more clearly. Look, I've enjoyed the good life, and I've suffered through the bad. After all this, I realize, what's the point of making so much money? How much can you really spend in a day? And for that bit of money, how many people get jealous? How many wish you'd fail? If something bad happens, how many laugh at you? How many kick you when you're down? And houses, no matter how big or luxurious, what's the use? Sometimes you don't even go back for a whole day. You lie in bed for 7 or 8 hours. 100 square feet is enough. A car, whether it costs tens of thousands or tens of millions, gets you to your destination at the same time. You can't go faster than the speed limit anyway. So, I think the simple, quiet life is what's real. Sarah chewed on her fork thoughtfully. Ethan, what you're saying sounds reasonable at first, but it doesn't quite hold up under scrutiny. It feels like you're kind of twisting things, but I can't quite argue with it. I looked at her, exasperated. Why are you trying to argue with me? We're just chatting, not in a debate. I'm just rambling. You just listen. I'm not some life coach, just venting, that's all. Dinner lasted 2 hours, more talking than eating. What possessed me to pick this restaurant? The ambience was great, but the food was honestly nothing special, and it was expensive. Terrible value. I put her in a cab, then decided to walk home. The holidays were approaching, and there were fewer people on the streets. A cold wind blew, and I hunched my shoulders, pulling my neck deeper into my coat. "Hey, buddy, got a light?" I was about to say I didn't smoke when I looked up and saw Lucas Jennings. He recognized me too, clearly surprised. "Ethan, what a coincidence, running into you here." I waved dismissively. "Don't call me Ethan like that. What are you doing here?" Lucas scratched his head. "The company's looking to expand into new areas next year. I was here checking out a supplier. Just finished dinner, wanted to get some air." I just said, "Oh," and didn't say more, ready to leave. He stopped me, pointing to an SUV parked nearby. "Ethan, let me give you a ride home." I refused flatly. "No need, I live close by. I'll be there in no time." He didn't seem to want me to go. We know each other, after all. Even though you and Sophia split, there's no bad blood between us. If you need anything, you can always call me. My number's still the same. I nodded politely. "Thanks, I appreciate it. If there's nothing else, I'd like to go home." "Well, if it isn't Ethan. You know Mr. Jennings?" Mr. Harrison, the CEO of Apex Global, emerged from the hotel and stood before us. Lucas said to Harrison, "Ethan and I go way back. He's working for your company now." Harrison nodded happily. "That's right. He's our corporate communications manager now. I have high hopes for him." One sentence, and he'd erase my deputy title. Lucas smiled. "Is that so, Mr. Harrison? You've got a keen eye for talent. You found a real gem in Ethan. His work ethic is incredible. So many companies on our side were trying to recruit him." Harrison's face was flushed, clearly having had a bit to drink. "Since everyone knows each other, let's all go together." Lucas adjusted the gold-rimmed glasses on his nose. "It's settled then. Tonight's on me. Nobody argues. If anyone else tries to pay, they're disrespecting me." Harrison flattered him. "Mr. Jennings, truly the president of a big corporation, so generous in word and deed. You've come all this way. We should have been the hosts." "Ah, there's plenty of time for that. We'll be dealing with each other often in the future. Lots of opportunities." He looked at me. "Right, Ethan?" I nodded awkwardly. I followed their group to a private room. A waiter brought an extra chair and a new set of cutlery. Lucas ordered a lot more food and 2 bottles of whiskey. I quickly said, "I've already eaten." Lucas waved his hand. "No problem. These are just bar snacks. Won't take up much room." "Mr. Harrison chimed in. "Ethan's just being modest. He's always so polite to everyone at the company." 2 bottles were quickly emptied, and everyone was getting tipsy. Lucas ordered 2 more, saying bluntly that not drinking was a sign of disrespect. Half the table ended up throwing up. Harrison was slurring his words badly. Lucas, despite his scholarly appearance, had an incredible tolerance for alcohol, drinking whiskey like water. He was still toasting me, his expression unchanged. I hadn't had a serious drinking session in a long time. My body couldn't take it. Maybe we should call a night? Give me a chance to get home, okay? Lucas smiled. No worries. But if we're drinking, we drink to our heart's content. I can see you can really hold your liquor, Ethan. We're just getting started. Not drinking means you're looking down on me, right? He glanced at Harrison. Harrison, getting the signal, threw an arm around my neck. Lucas is our honored guest. You have to take good care of him. After the new year, I'll give you a promotion and a raise. Make you a vice president. Lucas held up his glass. Mister, Harrison has made a promise. My arm's getting tired holding this up. So, I threw caution to the wind. A drinking contest? I'll go all out. I put my glass aside and grabbed a bottle. Glasses are boring. How about we go straight from the bottle? This was whiskey, not beer. Lucas, ever smiling, said, sure, no problem with me. He drained his glass and grabbed a full bottle. The next thing I knew, I was waking up with a massage therapist kneading my feet. I jolted in surprise, then relaxed slightly when I saw the company's senior execs nearby. You can go. I don't need it. After changing, I went downstairs. Lucas was sitting on a sofa in the lobby, smoking and playing on his phone. He looked surprised to see me and put his phone away. Ethan, you're up already. Impressive. I nodded at him. Thanks for your hospitality. If there's nothing else, I'm heading back. He stubbed out his cigarette in the ashtray. Can we talk? I don't think we have anything to talk about. He crossed his legs, hands on his knees. If you don't want to talk here, I can come to your office tomorrow and have your boss order you to talk to me. Resigned, I sat on the single armchair to his left. Talk about what? Do you know Sophia had a son for you? I nodded. I know. So? He looked puzzled. You don't want to go back and see them? Though I was awake, my head was still throbbing. I bent over, holding my head in my hands. There's an old saying, a kid's better off with a dirt-poor mom who loves them than a rich dad who's never around. Right now, I'm a dirt-poor one. My son's with his mom. I'm relieved he's with her. Lucas frowned. How can you be so irresponsible? I rubbed my temples. Just consider me dead. If you want what's best for them, don't tell them you saw me. I don't deserve to be in their lives right now. Lucas pointed at me. You're a coward. I used to think you were a real man, but it was all an act. You just run away from problems. What do you mean, don't deserve? I know what happened between you two. You didn't do anything to wrong her. Do you have to be rich and powerful, worth hundreds of millions, to deserve them? I looked at him, wondering where all his anger was coming from. This is my business. It has nothing to do with you. If you're only talking to me to lecture me, then let me tell you, you're not qualified. With that, I stood up, pushed open the door, and walked out. The next day, I submitted my resignation. Mr. Harrison looked astonished. Ethan, you're doing so well. Why leave? What I said yesterday wasn't just drunk talk. After the new year, but getting that promotion. I mean it. My expression was grim. Mr. Harrison, I don't think I'm up to this job. You should find someone better. Harrison played with the pen in his hand, his face unreadable. Ethan, everyone has their own ambitions. Can't force it. But you sign a 5-year contract. If you leave now, you'll have to pay a hefty penalty for breach of contract. I hadn't thought that far ahead. I definitely couldn't afford the penalty. Seeing me silent, Harrison pushed the resignation letter back to me with his pen. Just focus on your work. I picked up the letter, turned, and left. Outside the office, I tore it up and threw it in the trash. Back at my desk, I considered just phoning it in, but the thought vanished as quickly as it came. I dived back into my busy workload, approving scripts and content, providing feedback for revisions on anything that wasn't up to par or didn't meet my expectations. 3 days passed like this. I was scrolling through feeds, checking out trending news, when Mr. Harrison's secretary came to tell me to attend a meeting. Usually, meeting notifications came through Slack or our internal messenger. Today, the secretary coming in person was strange. Outside the conference room, I could hear a buzz of voices. Looked like a lot of people were attending. The moment I opened the door, the room fell silent. All eyes focused on me. My gaze, however, landed on the woman sitting in the middle of the conference table by the window. It was none other than my ex-wife, Sophia Hayes. Her face was expressionless, but her eyes were complex. My first instinct was to turn around and leave, but Mr. Harrison gestured for me to sit, and like a puppet, I sat down. She was my ex-wife. We had a son together, and there was no deep-seated hatred between us. She'd asked for the divorce, and I hadn't done anything wrong. Why should I run? With those thoughts, I settled in. Everyone had documents in front of them, except me. Everyone had tea, except me. Everyone spoke, still except me. I felt like a potted plant, just a decoration. What did this meeting have to do with me? The worst part was, the person taking photos for the meeting was one of my subordinates, and he snapped several pictures of me. I could feel at least 2 pairs of eyes on me, So I kept my head down, staring at my fingernails like a guilty schoolboy. When the meeting ended, Mr. Harrison suggested a group photo. We lined up in front of the conference room banner, some sitting in front, others standing behind. He and Sophia sat in the center. I stood in a corner. After the photo, Harrison shook hands with Sophia and chatted for a few moments. I was about to leave when the secretary, standing by the door, stopped me. Before I could speak, Mr. Harrison came out and told me to go back in. The large conference room now held only Sophia and me. The secretary thoughtfully closed the door. Our eyes met. Neither of us spoke first. Finally, I couldn't stand it. Ms. Hayes, if there's nothing else, I'll get back to work. She took 2 steps towards me, then stopped. How have you been lately? Today's better than yesterday. Yesterday was better than the day before. Getting better day by day. She bit her lower lip. Why didn't you come find me? I met her eyes. We're divorced. We should be strangers, right? Didn't you hate me? Didn't you want to never see me again? Didn't you call the cops on me? Weren't your bodyguards pretty tough? Since that's the case, why would I go looking for trouble? The more I spoke, the more agitated I became, the more a sense of grievance welled up. She opened her mouth, then hesitated for a long moment. I never expected you'd suddenly go bankrupt. Do you know? When I came looking for you after my maternity leave, you were gone, vanished. I went crazy, used every resource I had, contacted everyone who knew you. Back then, what I feared most was hearing any news about you. I didn't even dare look at my phone, didn't dare read the news, terrified of what I might hear. She too became more emotional as she spoke, even starting to cry. All right, you've seen me. This is a company, and there are cameras in the conference room. You should probably go. With that, I turned to open the door. Ethan, come home with me. I left her with one sentence. That's your home. Then I pulled open the door and walked out. That evening, Mr. Harrison was playing the gracious host for a dinner and insisted I attend. I called in sick and went back to my rented room. My landlady told me, it's just a few days before Christmas, dear. I made some homemade lasagna. I'll bring some over for you in a bit. I thanked her profusely. Thank you, ma'am. You really don't have to. The landlady's face crinkled into a smile. Look at you, child. It's not easy for you here alone. Renting my place, it's like fate brought us together. I made extra, so it's no trouble at all. I took off my suit jacket and put on my food delivery uniform, planning to eat the lasagna and then go out for deliveries. The rates were higher tonight. I could earn a bit more. Just then, there was a knock on the door. Wow, the landlady's quick with that lasagna, I thought. But when I opened the door, I saw Sophia. How did you find this place? She was wearing a white fur coat and black leather gloves. The moment she stepped inside, she covered her mouth with the back of her hand and started crying. Nothing could console her. The landlady came in with the lasagna and jumped, probably thinking a ghost dressed in white fur had walked in. She asked who this was. I didn't know how to introduce her, just managed 2 words. A friend. Sophia stopped crying, sniffling. I'm his wife. The landlady immediately said she didn't believe it, then launched into a story about how miserable I was, working day and night to pay off debts, skimping on food and drink, and how I'd been so sick recently that if she hadn't found me in time, I'd have been a goner. She even wanted to show Sophia the eczema patches on my skin, but I stopped her. Forget the landlady. No one would connect this elegantly dressed woman with a guy in a food delivery uniform, bundled up like the Michelin Man. I ushered the landlady out and tore off a few sheets of paper towel, handing them to Sophia, who was a mess of tears. Known you for so many years, this is the first time I've seen you cry. Everyone says you're such a strong woman. True to your. She suddenly hugged me. Ethan, you've suffered so much. Hey, my clothes are dirty. I tried to push her away, but she held me incredibly tight, smearing tears and snot all over my chest. Just as I was at a loss, a phone rang. It was hers. She swallowed, took off her gloves, wiped her tears, took a deep breath, and answered the phone. A soft, sweet little voice came through. Mommy, when are you coming home? Sophia glanced at me and started crying again, silently this time. I suspected my grimy uniform had something to do with it, so I quickly took it off and tossed it aside. She choked out, I'll come back with Daddy to see you as soon as he's done with his work, okay? Okay, I want to talk to Daddy. She pinched her nose, looked down, and handed me the phone. I wiped my hands on my pants and took it. Hello. Daddy, it's Leo. Why aren't you and Mommy back yet? My voice softened. Leo, buddy, be good. Daddy has some things to take care of here. I'll be back as soon as I'm done. Then you have to come back soon. Leo misses you. Daddy misses you too. After hanging up, I realized I was also crying, tears streaming down my face. Just then, the landlady came back in. Finished the lasagna? I cooked some more. Before I could say anything, she backed out. Sophia had money, all right. I thought we'd have to wait until the next day to go back, but she'd actually bought a Gulfstream jet, paid in full. The entire way, Except when going through security, she never let go of my hand, as if afraid I'd run off. This was so rushed, I didn't even get anything for Leo. You are Leo's best gift. This time, I'm not letting you go, no matter what. I ruffled her hair. Okay, as long as you don't kick me out, I'm not going anywhere. She buried her head in my chest. From now on, our family will never be separated. We'll be together for a lifetime.